look good.
Beautiful day, so I don't mind at all. Talk to you later.
Hi everyone. That was a little too happy, I think. Hi everyone. Welcome to the Autumn Acorn Knits podcast. My name is Judy. This is just about knitting, crocheting, yarn dyeing sometimes, at least my attempt to. And our life here in our log cabin. Right now I'm in the cottage, which is where I started out filming the Autumn Acorn Knits. And then I've done some episodes inside the main house as well. We live here in New Hampshire at the base of the White Mountain National Forest. And live here with Joe and our cat Meryl, who is wandering about the cottage right now. So this is episode 12. And it's not going to be a very long episode. I just mainly want to show one finished object and talk about the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival that Joe and I attended last weekend. And I wanted to show you the acquisitions from that festival. It was so much fun. And then I also have an exciting giveaway for a sock pattern. So I'll ask a question toward the end, and if you answer it here on YouTube, then I will use a random number generator for next time to choose a winner, and you get a free sock pattern. So that's exciting. So the finished object is my Hydrangea Stripe Blanket, and I've been working on this, gosh, since January, off and on. It's made of sock yarn. It's a scrappy blanket, so I used up a lot of different scraps of sock yarn. I used up a ton of minis. It's a pattern I got from Attic 24, a wonderful designer there named Lucy. It's a free pattern. I did do a crochet along, and I am choosing a winner for that. Random number generator is choosing a winner for that on May 31st, so the end of this month. But anyway, I did finish mine. I say finished, but I left it with crochet. It's kind of nice because you can add to that piece really anytime you want. So even though I cut the yarn and tied it off, I can still untie that knot. And if I do get more sock yarn in the future, scraps, I will add it, because I don't think you could ever have a blanket that's too big. So anyway, here it is. I have shown you this blanket a lot on different episodes of the podcast. Obviously, it's hard to show the entire thing in its entirety, but I can give you a sort of a tour of the border of it. Back on this side. You see, I didn't care where I placed the color. It didn't really matter. I wanted it to be truly scrappy. And just for reference, the last time I podcast, which was last weekend, I was up to here. I added this after I podcast, and this is how much I did to complete the blanket. But I am so happy. I know I've told you this before, but I'm really so happy with the way it feels. This is by far my favorite blanket that I've ever made, whether it be knit or crochet, and I believe it's because I used sock yarn. I wish I could go back and start over, because this section of it, it's beautiful, and I think the colors are probably the prettiest of the whole blanket. However, the gauge of the yarn, I was really digging deep into scraps, and some of these yarns are not sock yarn, and they're just a little too thick. And then I ended up with this hump, which you probably won't see it later, but I noticed it in this hump on this side. But anyway, the part that I did in true sock yarn, and I used a pretty small needle, maybe a size F, I believe. It was an F, I think 3.5 or 4 millimeter. I'm sorry, I don't have it with me right now. But I love mostly, and you just can't really get an idea of how much this bounces and springs and stretches and just feels like a sweater, and I adore it. I probably, like I said, will add more to it. But as far as the crochet along, this is my finished object. I will get a picture up on the thread and on Ravelry. If you're looking for how to find me, I'll put everything here in the video so that I don't have to keep saying it, because I do have, I have a knitting group. If you're looking to get rid of chemicals from your home, I've got a Facebook group for that. I have a Ravelry group. I have an Instagram page. I have a regular Facebook page. I have a blog, a .com. I have a lot going on, and then this podcast, so I'll put all those links. But anyway, that is my only finished object, because as I have been telling you, and it's getting to be like a broken record, is that work is busy, work is crazy, getting better. I can definitely see where right now things are going to smooth out, but then we have so many things like end of the year assessments and graduation, and it just comes to a head, and then whew, I'll take a deep breath when the last day comes on June 14th. And although I have other projects and camps that I'll be working on this summer, and just I always have stuff going on, at least it won't be as hectic, and I can focus on a lot of the more creative aspects of my life, which I love. So last weekend, I told you Joe and I were going to 2 sheep and wool festivals in New Hampshire. The one that I had found, I had mentioned to Joe, and then he went online and researched and thought that he found another one in Compatook. I hope I'm saying it right this week. So we drove the hour and a half to Compatook, and we went to the fairgrounds that it was supposed to be at. We checked and double checked the website for the dates, and it just wasn't there. It didn't exist. So we're guessing either it did say dates weren't definite. So we're guessing that either the other sheep and wool festival that we did find chose the same date and just won out. Their location may have been better, I'm not sure. Or because there really wasn't a year listed, we're wondering if this is from last year. It didn't make sense because of the dates were on a weekend and they matched, but anyway, we weren't upset. I mean, we were disappointed, but we weren't like going to let it stop us. So we drove on our way to Deerfield, and we found the Sheep and Wool Festival. And here's the booklet that we got. It was beautiful. I was so impressed with this festival. I've never been. It was my first time. I've only been to the Vermont Sheep and Wool Festival before, many times, and I do love that one, but that one is always more crowded, so that really surprised me that this one, I figured being in New Hampshire with many more people, it would be more crowded, and it wasn't. It was perfect. The weather was cool, actually cool enough that I wore my Magic Springtime shawl. I wore my Deshane tee, which is a sweater that I made. That was layered over another tee, and then I had my raincoat over that. If I had only brought mittens, because my hands were freezing, and I have Raynaud syndrome, so the blood leaves the tips of my fingers and my toes, and they turn white, bright white, and they just hurt so badly. So there was no hot water, so when you used the restroom, there was no hot water. But there was a building, an inside building that had heat, so we kind of had to just go into that building first so I could warm up my hands enough, because I couldn't even shoot video or take photos or anything or look at yarn. Couldn't function with my hands at all. So anyway, we went in there and looked around again, and really took our time at this festival. My hands warmed up and we had such a good time. I got a lot of footage. I'll definitely put it at the end of the video so you could see all the fun we had. And it was kind of the first time I've gone to one of these events where I said to myself, you know, life is short, and I always just look, and I don't buy a lot of things. And I said, you know, life is short. I told you I just lost a friend, a dear friend, and I've just been really emotional about that lately. And I just said, you know, I'm gonna buy what I want to buy this time, within reason. So the first thing I bought, first thing I saw that I needed, it spoke to me, was a sheepskin. I've wanted a sheepskin my whole life, basically, but especially since moving up north. And I saw one that I thought, well, I can actually afford this one. It was about $60. Not large, well, I'd say, yeah, this big. A small but decent size, not tiny, decent sized. We have a bench in our home that I laid it on, and I swear it's the perfect fit. So we'll see if Meryl doesn't climb on it and, you know, decide to pluck at it. We can leave it there. So, but I'll show you a photo here. It feels so soft, and I was just so thrilled to have it and to finally own one. So excited about that. The next purchase I made was goat's milk soap. I don't use anything else except for natural goat's milk soap. It's the only thing that helps my dry, scaly skin. I used to have lizard skin, especially my legs. And ever since using goat's milk soap with natural essential oils, I have no problem. My skin is so much better. So I picked up the first bar, was from Natural Specialties Goat's Milk Soap Shop by Andrea. She calls her store peacefarmstore.com online. And I bought two. One of them is already being used. It smells so good. I bought this Cheyenne Coconut one. It just smells heavenly. It smells like coconut, and I love coconut. And then I bought this lavender one too, which is nice. East Meets West Family Farm. East Meets West. So, no, Mountain Fiber Folk is something else. Don't pay any attention to that. Sorry. Anyway, East Meets West. I bought 3. This one is peppermint, spearmint, rosemary, sage. Good enough to eat. This one is lemon poppy seed. I love it when a soap has poppy seed in it for the exfoliating. And then lavender vanilla oatmeal, a little bit different, I hope I like that one. So they smell great. They smell so good. These actually, this brand, the peacefarmstore.com, they smell stronger. So I really like that. So that was fun. Then, hi Meryl. Come here, sweetie. Do you want to come say hi? Do you want to say hi? Come here, baby. Come here. Come on. Do you want a treat? I bet you do. Come say hi and I'll give you a treat. Look. I've got your treats. She doesn't like to say hi. Say hi. There you go. Good girl. All right, ready? You want a treat? Here, honey. I don't think she appreciates the smell of the soap. I think that's it. There you go, darling. Not cooperating today. Then I bought some buttons. I love homemade buttons. There's nothing like them. I just am starting to really appreciate buttons more for their value, because once you've finished a cardigan, like, the buttons make it or break it. So these, I thought these were beautiful. These are, here they are. These are by Incomparable Buttons. Handmade, fully washable, giving employment to women in South Africa. www.buttonmad.com. Button Mad. And they're little pottery, and they're little hand-painted pottery, all different colors. I love them. I hope you can see them well. And they were only $9.50, which isn't bad because there's 5 buttons there. So I thought that was such a great price. Now these are probably, well, they're definitely at least an inch wide. So they're kind of a heavier button. So I won't be putting those on one of my fingering weight cardigans. Definitely not. It would definitely be more of a woolly, probably an Aran or worsted weight sweater even, for these buttons to hold up. So yeah. Then let's see, next I went to another shop that had a lot of beautiful yarns, and they had soaps. They just had so many things. And I picked up, I wanted to get some yarn that, you know, wasn't from the US. So I picked up some Air Valley Aran weight yarn from West Yorkshire Spinners. And here it is. Now the color, it looks like a charcoal gray, doesn't it? With some lighter heathered bits of it in it. However, I noted, and I bought 3 of these. I did get 3. But I noticed that some of the skeins that were with this skein were a light silvery gray. So I asked the woman about it, and she said, oh, that's just the way it's wound. It is a gradient yarn. So inside of this beautiful charcoal, I call it charcoal gray, is tons and tons of this silvery light gray. So I think that's going to be really, really pretty in some sort of a top. I don't know what yet. I'm thinking of some sort of a, I don't know, just a woolly sweater. The reason I'm hesitating is because I don't want it to necessarily have long sleeves, so it may even be a vest that I can put on. So yeah, we'll see, but I just loved it. I love the way it feels. I am starting to be more and more drawn to woolly wools, and I'm sure I'm going to go through phases because I still love the feel of this superwash merino, but I don't know, there's just something about wool that I am attracted to. And those were a really good price too. I really look for bargains. I try to look for bargains when I'm on a strict budget, so that's important. I did throw caution to the wind a little bit on this shopping spree, but we just had the best time and the best food. So next, everything I got, the last 3 things that I purchased were all from the same shop called the Elegant Ewe, E-W-E, and they're in Concord, New Hampshire. Their store is, and I'd heard about them. I had meant to go. We had actually planned to go one weekend and never made it because I kept saying to Joe, this looks like such a great yarn store. And it wasn't even until I was finished shopping that I realized, oh wow, you are the Elegant Ewe. You're the one I had to go to. So shout out to the Elegant Ewe. The ladies there, you guys were so helpful, so friendly. You made me just want to come into your shop even more. And I just happened to be the most, well, not the most, it was a tie between your booth and another that had naturally dyed yarns, Tidal Yarns, based in Connecticut. You had my heart too. I spent a lot of time there. But anyway, this shop was fabulous, and Joe took quite a lot of video of what they were offering. So let me show you. So the first thing I bought there is something I've been wanting to get from Knit Picks for probably a year, because I just think they're so useful, functional, and just wonderful. And here it is. It is the knitting pattern holder. These are the designs they come in, and I was really excited because the one that I wanted, which is this one, they only had this one, and maybe the green striped one, but I can't remember. This is the one I wanted. This is the one I would have picked. I was thrilled that there was still one left. Let me open it up. Some of you, I'm sure, have one or have used it or have at least seen it, but if you haven't, by the way, it was $24.95 at the festival. I don't know what they're selling for on KnitPicks. I believe it was very close to that same amount, if not more. This is the large size. They also have a smaller size, but I don't know much about them, but I thought I needed the larger size because most of my patterns that I print out in 8.5 by 11. So it has this really nice snap here, which is quite rugged. And then another here, and then another back here. So you can adjust it, or you can not use it at all if you want. And then you open it up, and I will try to get, here's a pattern I can show you with. So it comes with these strong magnets on the side. So it comes with this one, and then 3 of the smaller ones, so that you can use it as you wish. I'm guessing that you would just put it down with the magnet. So I'll really make this look like I'm using it. So here I have it set up so it would stand up, you know, because it has the teepee. Stand up, and then this long magnet would be so that you could read what row you're on. You don't lose your place, which I always lose my place. So, and then the magnets, these magnets would just hold it in place. It also has a really nice. It comes with a pen. Let's see how this pen seems. Let me write with it. Not the best pen. You could put your own pen there. That's what I'm going to recommend. There's another spot here for a pen as well, or a pencil. And then there is a nice zipper pouch here. So you can keep your sticky notes or whatever you have, whatever you need to design your pattern, your tape measure maybe. Not to design your pattern, to follow your pattern. It almost like a notions pouch is what I'm trying to say. Wow, I really can't think today, can I? So yeah, I really think I am going to like it. By the way, this part is super heavy and sturdy. I don't know what's in there, but that helps it to stand up, I think, better. So I'll let you know what I think of it as I use it, but I'm pretty sure that I am going to love it. So, very fun. Alright, and then I also bought, while I was there, I've been talking quite a bit lately to you about my experiment with dyeing yarn, dyeing wool yarn specifically, and I've just simply started with food coloring and have really enjoyed it. Sometimes the results were good, sometimes the results weren't so good. I've learned a lot. It's not something that I think I'd want to do, you know, where I sell my yarns all the time, but once in a while maybe. So anyway, right now I'm just learning, so I'm not selling anything. I'm just learning and using the yarns myself for my personal use. I'm definitely going to be doing natural dyeing. I'm still doing a lot of the research on that and gathering the materials. But while I was at the festival, I saw these samples of some acid dyes. These are called Cushings. And any of you dyers, I'm sure you're very familiar with these dyes. I'm not. So there was a really sweet person who was also attending the festival who knows a lot about dyes and colors and was helping me pick out some basics. But because these were samples, they were just $1 a piece, so I didn't have a huge variety, but I was rifling through and choosing what I thought would be a good start. So Nile Green, Royal Blue, Aquilon Wine, Yellow, Nugget Gold, another gold, I really love gold, and light brown. I think she said start with blue, green, and red. So I have blue, green, and sort of red. So I think that'll be a good start, and then I'm just going to play around. I picked up a few more bear hanks of wool, and so hopefully by the next time I podcast, which again I'm trying to do every week, I'll have some samples of my acid dye yarn to show you. But yeah, they were only $1 a piece, so I figured, you know, for $7, why not give it a shot and see what I think. I'm a little bit, I'm not really thrilled about using anything that's not safe, so obviously I'll do it outside and I'll wear a ventilator. Joe has a very good ventilator that I'll wear, you know, so I don't breathe any of the powders in. So, but I am going to also try the speckling techniques that many of you were so kind to share with me on Instagram and here on the YouTube comments. And so the two of the ideas in particular I thought were the most creative were, first of all, you said, almost all of you said to use a powder. So when I'm doing speckles, to make sure I'm using a powder. And then the other ideas for distributing the powder I thought were very good, were using a salt and pepper shaker. So I just went to the dollar store and picked up a salt and pepper shaker to kind of shake on the powder to get speckles. The other idea was to use a dry fork, a plastic fork, because the powder will stick better to that. And I think she just said to kind of tap it, the prongs. So I'm going to play around with both of those ideas. I thought they were fabulous. Thank you again for those of you who helped. Someone else had also referred me to a YouTuber called Hugh Loco, who does some fabulous dyeing tutorials. So she's already perfected how to do it, and that's been helpful as well. Last thing I bought at the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool Festival was a kit, which is not something I often I've never bought a kit at a festival, but I'm trying to think if I've ever bought a kit. Once in North Carolina, I went to this amazing yarn shop and I bought a kit for a baby hat. That's it though. I've never in my entire, and I am 54 years old, have bought a kit, a knitting kit. So this one was on clearance. I wasn't going to. I first saw the finished sample there and they had it in lavender, and I'll show you a picture of it. And I fell in love with it. I was able to touch it, and it's just a very light and airy summer top made of silk. So, but I was just looking, I just was looking, and then the woman came over and she said, "Hey, we've got these kits, and they're marked down on clearance. They're only $40, for 4 cones of pure silk," and it came with the pattern. So I couldn't resist. But again, if it wasn't there, that sample for me to touch, I don't think I would have been as tempted. It just doesn't sometimes do it for me, seeing it in a photo. And there were not many color choices. I want to say maybe I had 2. So anyway, here it is. Here is the back. Here's the side. Very simple. There is some decoration at the top, the yoke. But again, nothing too complicated or frilly. It's very basic. I like the sleeves, or lack thereof. They're just a small sleeve. What else? Oh, it did come, and this copy did not come out very well, but this particular yarn, and I'll tell you more about it, comes in quite a few colors. If you're interested in making this, this is actually a free pattern offered on the Pearl Bee, which Pearl Soho puts out. And if you don't know that pattern, that website, you must go check it out. They have probably hundreds of free patterns, and they're incredible, just incredible. Circular yoke summer shirt. It seems that that's what Pearl Soho is calling it, or the Pearl Bee is calling it. The Elegant Ewe called it Silken Straw Summer Sweater. And the materials it calls for are 4 skeins for both sizes. It comes in 2 sizes. 4 skeins of Alchemy's Silken Straw, 100% silk, and a 24-inch US size 4 circular needle, and then 2 US 4 double-pointed needles. It comes in small, medium, and medium large. The yarn that the kit came with is by Ito. The yarn is called Kinu, K-I-N-U, Ito's Canoe Silk. And it is 100% silk. On this cone, you get 50 grams or 425 meters or 464 yards. This, I asked her the weight. Let me just show you again in case you're interested in using this yarn. I asked her about the weight, and she said I said, is this a lace weight? And she said it acts, yes, a lace weight, but it also can act as a fingering. So I don't know, it feels very thin to me. But I loved the fabric that it knit up in the sample. So, oh, the color, I don't know if I can even describe the color. Color number 351 string. I guess they're calling it string. Yep, Ito Kinu 351 string. So that's the color string. I would call it more of a taupey gray, probably. That would be the best way to describe this. It's really, really pretty, really neutral, and I think it's going to match a lot of things that are in my wardrobe that I wear in the summer. I wear a lot of white. I like white cotton pants or linen pants, or even black or denim jeans. So we'll see how this goes. I really don't think it'll be a difficult pattern. I'm not sure. I wanted to start it at least to cast on because I always have cast-on-itis, always with new projects. But I went to find my size 4 circulars, and I wanted to use my Knit Pro, Knitter's Pride, same company, depends on if you're in the US, but I wanted to use my Knitter's Pride Royale interchangeable circulars because they're just the best I have. And I was already using the 4 on my Ora shawl by Caitlin Hunter, so I have to finish that. I feel like if I could finish that, I still have my own design that I'm working on for a cardigan, and another design I'm working on for a shawl. So I have a lot of things I'm working on, but I just wanted to cast on and just get the first couple rows done to see how, you know, I was swatching up and see how I'm gonna like that. So yeah, that is the end of acquisitions. I know that was a lot. I hope you weren't terribly bored. Maybe you just fast forwarded, and that's fine. I'm not offended. I just don't always have a lot to show you, and I did today, and I got excited about it. This was my first purchase of a pom-pom magazine. I went to order it online because it was less expensive. It was I believe €9.50 for the digital copy. And I knew that I could just print it at home, and that's what I did. So I printed out, here's the cover of it. I'm sure you've seen it. It was last year. I want to say it may just have been spring of 2017. And then I took and put it in this binder, so the entire thing is in this binder, because I like to see things printed. And there were, oh my gosh, almost every single pattern in here is something that I want to make. But the favorite, or the one that stood out, was called Altair. And it's a long tunic cardigan with cables, 3 cables and a pocket. Love the pocket. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, I love it. It also shows the directions where you can make it just as a pullover, which looks really pretty. But I'm more attracted to the tunic because I love to wear them with leggings. So Anyway, I highly recommend Pom Pom. Like I said, almost every pattern, sorry guys, I keep doing that. Almost every pattern is something that I want to make, not too difficult. Love the way it has, for example, an old-fashioned cherry pie recipe in it, which I really need to make for Joe. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take that right out and plan that. He loves cherry pie. But it's just gorgeous. It has articles in it too. It talks about weaving. It's really, really well done. Highly recommend it, and such a value. I mean, I have paid $6, sometimes $7 for one pattern. This has 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 patterns for €9.50, so highly recommend. Last is a giveaway. So Knit 10 in Stone. Estella, beautiful name, from Germany, reached out to me on Ravelry and said, hey, I'd like to give you a free pattern, and I'd like to give one of your viewers of the podcast a free copy of my pattern. So I said thank you so much, and of course I graciously accepted and was delighted. So the pattern is called Stacking Wood, and I'm not sure if maybe Estella has watched the podcast and has seen that I have a very large role in the wood stacking around the cabin here, as does Joe, and so that's something that's very dear to my heart. So I reached out and I said, oh, I love the name already. Stacking Wood, that's right up my alley. So let me show you Stacking Wood. Here is the front, and it's a very pretty pattern. This is a darker color yarn, so it's a little bit harder to see. She includes a variation of it, which I think is such a great idea. And this pattern does include it. It's called Stacking Wood in Dirndl. But I just love the color, and you can really see the design in that. Isn't that gorgeous? Love it. So I haven't made these socks yet. I've been off of my sock kick a bit. I'm sure I'll get back into it as the weather again gets cooler. Today it's actually really cool. That's why I have the fire going. But it'll warm up by by noon. So yeah, I'm so excited that I can offer you this pattern for free from Knit 10 in Stone. And the only thing that I'm asking you is, because Estella is from Germany, Germany is a place that I long to visit. Oh, I think it looks so beautiful. And so that is definitely on the top 5 of my to visit places. So I would just like you to answer, if you could, at the end of this podcast, down below on the YouTube comment section. Is your dream vacation? If you could go anywhere. In particular, I'd love to know about your favorite yarny vacation. So another one on my bucket list is Iceland and Shetland. So those would be the yarny places. I have so many. It was hard to pick Germany, but Germany came to mind because that's where lovely Estella comes from. So where is your favorite dream vacation? Next week I will choose one of your comments, put it in number generator and pick one, and you will win this pattern, and it will be sent to you into your inbox. So that's exciting. Whew, that felt like a lot. It was longer than I thought, but I'm really glad I was able to fulfill my promise of doing another podcast in a week. This is it. This is my goal. I've set it, and I'm determined to make it happen. So you can count on me again next week. But in the meantime, I hope you guys are happy and healthy and enjoying watching all the podcasts out there. I'm especially enjoying Fiber Tales right now. I'm not sure I'd be able to say her name, but Larka, maybe, from Odense, Denmark, and what a beautiful podcast she has. But yeah, I'm enjoying that and just enjoying the nice weather. So I hope you guys are too, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Hi, cutie. Oh, aren't you so sweet? Aw.
I want to name Oreo.
You did?
His mascot. So anyway. It's the usual maze of trying to figure out where it really is. And it's got a new, they got that old.
It helps. She's doing the crafty. This is like fairly light, and this fiber has some prints in it, which tends to want to draft out.
And that's the intro.
How much yarn? I'm gonna go get my husband's math assignment. We're gonna be good. Yeah, it's really good.
We're in Bangkok. We actually are right at the
They're all the same color. They're gonna see how it goes.
You see all of them? The bees. We're alive.
So they have pies now that you can you have a spigot on it. They have those. Have you seen those? Yeah.
It's a gimmick, yeah.
Oh, it's a gimmick.
They're made in Australia, and they work good down to Australia.
Yeah, I know. Kids don't like to take that. So it's kind of the same thing. No one wants to get the
get the tonality is the issue. The green is really hard, but it's a question of
Maybe I could.
Bonnie. Bonnie, lie down. You crawl. Bonnie, crawl. Get down, crawl. Bonnie, crawl. How about the little one out there? Gracie, walk. Steady. Steady. Right there. Before you get in the tub. Get in the tub.